Okay, forgive me for being just slightly off center on the screen because I started and then I stopped because I was all wonky. And I realised there's no point in me teaching you if what I'm doing isn't right. So I had to stop. And I didn't think you wanted to see me faffing around. So if you want to come to Supta Tadasana, we're going for long legs, long spine, balanced breath. So a balanced breath is not just an equal inhalation and exhalation, but it's also equal sensation through the left and the right side of the ribs as well. Okay, so just check that you're in a straight line. The knees are facing up towards the ceiling or the sky, depending on whether you're inside or outside. And your hips feel level and the tailbone feels like it's in the center. Now you can always place your feet against the wall. If they're against the wall, then you know where you are in space. Because to begin with, when we do our yoga practice, we're not even sure how level we are without some kind of indication on the outside or the use of a mirror. Okay, so now, keeping the left leg nice and strong, keeping the hips level, bend your right leg up. If you've got stiff knees, hold behind the back of the knee. If you've got knees that bend easily, you can bring the hand around the front of the shin. Keep both hips in the same place, keep the tailbone in the center, and just gently draw the knee in. Now keep the left thigh pressing down and keep the left buttock active. Breathe. Relax the shoulders so the breath becomes nice and broad and wide. And just slow the breath down a little. And as the breath becomes a little slower, you may well find that it actually wants to deepen as well. So rather than just thinking about deepening the breath, if we think about slowing the breath, it may well become a little deeper of its own accord. Don't stress the eyes in doing that. And then release, bring both legs into the same space as they were. So Supta Tadasana, lying down, Tadasana pose. If you've got your feet on the wall, make sure you're pressing both feet evenly onto the wall. Now press the right thigh down, keep the hips level, keep the tailbone in the center, bend up the left leg, either holding behind the back of the knee if your knees are stiff or they're a bit poorly or you've had an operation on them, or if you can, cuddle the knee in, bring the knee in. Tailbone in the midline. Widen the collarbones. Keep that lower leg, if it's pressing into the wall, keep it there. Breathe. Wide and smooth. Deeper, longer breath. And then release. Okay, so this is, that was like a a quarter Supta Padangusthasana. So now we're going to do a half Supta Padangusthasana. Now if you can reach big toe, your fingers are going to come in and hold the big toe while still trying to keep that tailbone in the center. If that compromises your hips or your lower back, take your belt, if you've got a belt, and loop it around the big toe. If that's painful on the toe, then loop it around the foot. Okay? And then you can hold that with one hand. And again, you're just bringing that tailbone into the midline. The lower back has its natural curve. Don't push the lower back flat into the floor, because then the curves of the spine will be lost. So you want the body to become in its natural state, but even better than its natural state, it's in its supernatural state. And then this thing called yoga becomes sensational. Hips level, face soft, breath wide and smooth. And then release. Stretch out that right leg, pressing both feet into the wall if you're using the wall, and now bend up the left leg. Either take hold of the mound of the big toe, your arm comes on the inside of the leg, and the knee comes in close. Don't let the knee flare out to the side. Or you put the belt around the big toe or around the foot and hold. Now if you're holding the belt, make sure the palm is coming towards you and then the shoulder, collarbones broad. Lower leg firm, tailbone in the center, hips level. Relax the face, all these things. Deepening the breath, relaxing the upper body so it's just there. Lower body's working quite strongly, like a swan. How its legs must be going super fast under the water, but it looks so elegant on the top. And then release, stretch that leg out. Okay, so the next one is another, I don't know whether it's technically called half Supta Padangusthasana, but this is for if you've got really tight hamstrings. So bend up your left foot and place it on the floor, have the knee facing towards the ceiling, and make sure that that foot is pointing forwards and it's an even pressure down but with the arch lifted up. And then bend up your right leg, place the belt around the foot, hold the belt with 2 strands, and then stretch the leg up. And if your legs are particularly tight, they may only come to here. Keep the tailbone in the center. ASIS, this knobbly part at the front of the hip, your hip bones, keep those pointing up directly, and then see if you can draw the leg towards you with an awareness to not disturbing the pelvic bowl. So the work is coming from the legs, and this is particularly humbling if you are like me and you can be a bit bendy-wendy, but the back can do the work that the legs should be doing. Not that all wendies are bendy. Loosey-loosey, if you're a bit loosey-loosey. Tailbone in the center. Don't cause any grips that aren't required. So no grips between the eyebrows, no grips on the jaw, no grip around the shoulders. And then release. Leg down. So take the right leg down, take the right foot down, and just make the similar connection. So the whole of the foot pressurizing down. Don't let that knee splay out to the side, and put the left foot in the belt. You can stretch the leg away and you can raise the leg up straight. And again, you might find that the leg is long to here, but as you start to bring it towards you, you might feel like you're getting a better stretch because your head will tell you that your foot is closer to your head. But if you look at my leg, can you see how that's bending? So we want the leg to feel long on the inside. And then once it's long on the inside, maintain that length. Now what will happen is as you draw that foot towards the face, maintaining the pressure at the top of the thigh, you'll start to feel how the muscle starts to work a little better. And we want to grow stronger as we get older. We don't want to grow weaker. We need that extra strength to look after all the people around us and ourselves. Let the leg lengthen. Don't lose the pressure of that right foot. Keep the tailbone in the center. Neck soft, eyebrows wide, breath wide and smooth. Slow inhalation, slow exhalation, but comfortable. As if you're watching a pleasant film. Or lying underneath a tree having a stretch in front of your shed. And then exhale, release the leg down. Okay, so you've got the option to go back to that one again. So the next one, if you've got your feet on the wall, it's brilliant because you want to keep one half of your brain. So let's say we're raising the right leg up. So the right side of your brain is going to be in the left foot. Your left side of the brain is going to be in the right foot. Okay? So even just picture that. Okay, so if you can picture opposite side of the brain controlling the opposite side of the body, Okay, keep that action, keep the hips level, and then raise up your right leg, keeping the right leg straight, going for length from the buttock bone to the heel. I feel like I'm pulling up a drawbridge. That's what my mum used to call me when I'd been slightly naughty. Lucy Victoria Drawbridge. If I'd been really naughty, it was Lucy Victoria Aldridge. But slightly naughty, definitely Drawbridge. Thigh back, calf to the heel, toes lengthening from the foot. Don't pull them down towards the face, but don't point them away towards the ceiling either. So you should just feel like they're growing, sprouting out from the foot. Tailbone in the middle. Keep the leg nice and straight. Exhale, lower the leg down. Second side. So just bring both feet into the belt and press the legs into the wall or into the belt if you've got no wall, and then take the right leg out and balance out that work. Keeping the hips level, raise that left leg up like a drawbridge. Legs firm, long legs. Beautiful long legs, reaching out from the hip into the heel, but drawing the top of the thigh down into the hip. Feel how active those muscles on the fronts and the backs of the legs can feel. Picture the strength just being built within that area. Face soft, tongue passive. Long breath. Going for long legs. And then exhale, lower the leg down and release. Okay, so now we're going to pick up the right leg again, raise it up and bring the leg so it's up as high as possible. So pull that foot, the belt is around the right foot, just by the heel, tailbone in the center, and stretch that left leg away. Now make sure that left leg is going directly out of the hip, so you've got a bit of space there, and wag your outer hip down towards, outer right hip down towards the inner left ankle. Hold the belt quite close to the foot and just know that you're going to stretch the leg into the belt. So you're going to let the belt slide through the hands as you push the heel up into the belt, unfurling the leg, and just find out where it wants to come. Don't force anything. It'll be different today than tomorrow and from yesterday. And then just hold the belt and just be here now. Forget about all the effort made in the pose and just let yourself enjoy the sensation now of a lovely long leg. Easy breathing, relaxed face, firm muscles around the thighs. Good contact with the feet, but don't overdo. So often, if we work to our maximum, it's our mind imposing on the posture. Optimum is when we allow the body to tell us what feels right. And as yogis or aspiring yogis, I class myself as one of those, that's where we want to be. Listening to the body, finding out what it needs, and if there's a small tweak that we can do just to make it that little bit more effective, efficient. And then just bend the leg in, relax the belly, and then let the leg stretch away. Keep the belt on it, let the belt slide through your hands if your belt is long enough, and place both feet in the belt again, just having your feet apart just a little. And if you press the outer heels, so if the belt's around the heels, if you press those outer heels into the belt, keeping the toes facing up, you'll feel your outer hips grip a little bit. So Mary, I don't know whether you watch these, but if you do, then you should, that area we were talking about in class this morning, you'll feel. And now take the right leg out, place it on the wall or stretch it away as if it's pressing into the wall, so the sole of the foot is active. Bend up your left leg, bringing that knee up as close to you as possible. Tailbone in the center, breathe. And now you're going to open out the sole of that left foot, keep the right sole active, toes stretching up, and now straighten up through that leg. finding out where the leg wants to come for your optimal leg length. Feel, and then just relax the shoulders and allow yourself to be in Supta Padangusthasana without too much pressure, no mental pressure. Let the mind release into the body. Let the mind release into the pose. Let the eyes release into the pose. And then let the leg come down. Let the belt slide through your hands. Bring both feet back into the belt. And take some breaths. Now, you need a long belt for this next action. And it needs to be a big long loop, and it depends on the length of your belt. But this is a really nice one to do. Otherwise, you can just do the leg stretching again. If your belt isn't long enough, or it slips from your armpits, then just do the last action again. So have the tail coming towards you, because then you can tighten the belt as and where necessary. Okay, so you're going to, can you see how it's underneath my armpits? It's up high, it's not down around my back. The tendency is, after a while, is that if you're slightly tight, the belt will slip down to the lower thoracic area or onto the lower back, and then that pulls the spine out. So actively keep the belt up by your armpits, put the belt on the heel, and then you can just raise the leg up, and then you take the armpit chest and you press it down onto the belt. You can take the arms out to the side, press the thigh back, keep the left foot pressing onto the wall. And then you might find after a little while, try not to have the belt twisted. That's me, not you. Still twisted. And then after a little while, keeping those hips level, you can tighten the belt just a little bit if you wish. And you can either keep the arms out to the side, because that gives you a nice broad breath, or you can take the arms over the head, clasping the elbows if you've got your head on a blanket, so you don't end up discombobulating yourself in your elbows or your shoulders. So you decide which way feels best for you. And like I said, if you find the belt is slipping, then just hold the belt with two hands. So you can even just, if you realise it slips, you can just hold the belt, and that takes the pressure off the back. And then release the foot. Release the belt off a little bit, because often we're tighter in one leg than the other, and we don't know how each leg is feeling until we bring it up into the pose and it starts to talk to us. So here, leg comes up, I can tighten that belt just a little bit. And I'm going to first of all take the arms out to the side, adjusting the belt around my armpit, making sure it's up nice and high. Arms out to the side. Tailbone in the centre. Keep the leg work in and around the hips. And then I'm going to take the arms over my head. And I'm going to clasp my elbows, but I'm going to do the opposite clasp, because I've got my head up on a blanket. And then do you remember I said to just allow yourself to be in the pose? So you stop striving, and if you picture that your mind, your brain, your eyes are just softening down towards your cheeks. And then let yourself become aware of the breath, entering the nose, but then entering the chest and the diaphragm. Maintain a subtle firmness of the legs. You should find that again the pose starts to feel entirely different. So Prashant will often say, you know, you're doing the poses, but do you ever give yourself time for the poses to do you? And I don't know how much time you've got here, But all of these things that you know, if you glean something from one of these videos, then please just spend a bit more time experimenting, because the real yoga comes from you and your practice, not just from turning up a class or being taught online. It's what you start to sense on the inside. And then release the arms down. Release the belt off, so back off the belt by pressing the edge of that belt away, and then lower the leg down. Now, if you've done, so here's a little promo. If your belt isn't locking, I did like a 2 or 3 minute video on how to tie the belt up, and I'll post that the same time as this one's posted, so you'll be able to have a look. Anyways, take that off. Bend up both legs. Keep the ankles together, keep the knees together, keep the hips together, keep the lumbar spine beautifully neutral, so there's a little gentle curve. And just cuddle the knees towards the chest without pressing the lower back into the floor. Just want you to observe this. So again, if you need to hold behind the backs and knees, hold behind the backs and knees, or hold on the shins. Okay, and then release, place the feet down. Okay, now the next one I want you to do is, again, you're going to pull the knees in, but this time you can pull the knees in and let your pelvis roll and feel how that gives you a different sensation. Now when the lower back or the hips are tight, doing one leg then the other is much easier. And as the body becomes stronger and the awareness in and around the hips, lower abdomen space becomes more known, so it becomes easier. And then release. So if you want to do one leg first, then the other leg, you can do that. Now let's go back to the first one. So pelvic floor, not pelvic floor, what am I saying? Pelvis in its natural state, lower back feeling like it's long away from the pelvis, so there's a little tiny gap. Keep the thighs pressing away, just draw those knees in. Feel how that lengthens through the buttock area. You may not be able to pull the legs in quite so close. You might feel quite confined in and around the hips. And then either release one leg then the other, or release both legs down, squeezing those legs together. Okay, now squeeze those legs together again. Draw the legs in, letting the lower back release to the floor. So if you're moving slowly and awarely, if one doesn't feel quite right, you can always stop. And then release. Keeping those legs squeezing together. Okay, so the next one, we're just going to cuddle the knees wide. Okay, so let's bring the knees, so make the feet active, make the legs active, lower leg active. Draw the knees in, hold behind the backs of the knees, just separate the shins parallel. And you can play with this, you've felt how it is. You can keep the spine so that the lumbar curve is there, or you can then just gently move into the pelvic area, upper pelvic area, lower back area, and stretch out those lower back muscles. And then you can release, bring the legs back together, squeeze the ankles, squeeze the knees, pop the feet down, rest the hands on the hips, slide your legs away. Take a nice breath in. Relax through the fingers. Now just feel. Does your lower back feel entirely comfortable? Does it feel level and balanced? If it doesn't, just try first of all, bend up the legs and just slide the buttock flesh again, smoothing the ruckles in the buttocks away towards the back of the thighs, and see if sliding the legs away again can bring some comfort there. Yeah, just glance down, make sure the legs are doing the same thing. Let the arms release out to the sides. Make sure there's nothing disturbing the arms, nothing disturbing the body. Relax the eyes towards the back of the skull. Soften the throat. Release the lower jaw. And let the breath be wide and smooth. Lips soft, face soft, eyes passive. Arms releasing from the armpits to the wrists. Sides of the neck, nice and long. Release the upper lip. Relax the lower lip. Slacken the jaw. Release the chin. Soften the cheeks. Relax the outer corners of the eyes. Let the armpits feel open, as if they're absorbing the breath. Let the diaphragm gently rise and fall. Let the thighs feel soft and heavy. Release any grips in the buttock muscles. Any grips around the face. And then where your body is touching the mat, touching the blanket, let it widen and be absorbed by that feeling. Let yourself melt into that sensation. Allow any external noises to just wash over you. And return to the breath. And the beautiful, beautiful, simple sensation of the breath. Start to deepen the breath. Rest the hands on the abdomen. Stretch into the heels, say hello to your toes, the soles of the feet, the ankles, the calves, stretch the calves. Say hello to your knees. Just roll those thighs in to say hello to your hips. Pressing into the heels, bend up the legs one at a time. Take a nice deep breath into your hands, and with the next exhale, roll over onto your right side. If the right side's uncomfortable, roll to your left. And then you can carefully sit yourself up. Come to a cross-legged position. Sukhasana. Take a breath in, bring your hands to Namaskadasana, lift and lengthen the spine. Organise your spine so it feels like it's long and spacious between every vertebral segment. Lift the heart up, the centre of the heart centre. Bow down the head. Pay your respects to your teachers' teachers, and the lineage behind them. For myself, it's the Iyengar family, my friends, my family, and all the people around me that I learn lessons. Release the hands down, open the eyes, and raise the face. Thank you.